Morning troops, another day, another river. We're fishing the River WITHAM this morning. Dead baiting as always, and nothing if not predictable. Looks like there might even be some blue skies today. Started off grey, but it soon cleared up. I'll run through the swim with you in a minute. As they say, it's the River WITHAM, it's a club water, belongs to the pub at Kirkstead Bridge. £3.50 a day, I believe. I've got a season ticket, so it's handy. It's on my doorstep. Does produce some big fish every now and then, so I've blanked here a lot. Last time I done a video, I'll leave the link up there, or up there. Deadbaiting the Lincolnshire River, and I blanked. So don't like to blank, so I always return to the scene of the crime. A different swim, but I saw some silverfish moving around this morning in this swim, so that's my thinking. If it's prey fish, there might be pike. I know the swims up at the bridge, they get a lot of pressure. I mean, you can just see where the first few swims is like mud baths, where footfall. So I thought, well, come a bit back and have a look with a bit less pressure. And I got as far as here, and I saw quite a few silvers topping first light. So that was my reasoning for picking the swim. I wonder what you do. I mean, if you're setting up in the dark, and we all talk about, well, we got watercraft, we know what we're doing, but how much watercraft can you use in the dark, really? You've got to utilise what little signs there are. And I saw silverfish topping. Like most rivers, I've got a reed bed to the left of me and to the right of me. Fishing in about 10-foot water just off the reed bed, so I'm happy with the depth, and it's just whether there's any pike there. So I'll get on and I'll show you the swim. Look at the colours in that reflection. I love it. I love being out in this time of year, or any time of year, to be honest. There's a river downstream, edge of that reed bed. There's my float. Whole sardine, single hook rig. Oh, and I got a little bubble there. Oh, it's a river, it could be a bit of debris coming down the line, but that float definitely bobbled. Just keep my beady eyes on it for a second in case it goes again. Might be my imagination. It wasn't my imagination, but it might well have been a bit of debris. There's my middle rod at about 6 to 10 metres, ledgered perch. I got a perch on there. I thought I'd try a coarse fish for a change, being a river. I don't know why, just fancied it. You never know, sometimes your hunches play off. And on the left hand rod, just at the edge of that reed bed, there is a ledgered whole herring. So herring on the left, perch in the middle, and a whole sardine on the right. What a lovely day. So it's going to be a beautiful one. As I say, I'm fishing in 10 foot of water, right there in the edge. And I'm quite happy. It's quite mild, 3 or 4 degrees. Down towards the bridge I can see the obligatory lure anglers fishing off the boardings there. The amount of pressure that little bit of stretch receives obviously must produce fish, but not my cup of tea. Don't want to be there at Pike Angler Central, do you? Well, maybe you do. You know, it's quite easy accessible. You know, you and a couple of friends have got a morning out lure fishing or something is ideal. But me, I like the solitude. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I can chinwag with the best of them, but my number one priority always is to catch fish. So it makes me a bit of a miserable old git. Only joking. Right, let's see if we can catch some fish. Let's have some nice cup of coffee, warm ourselves up, and see what the day brings. Been fishing about half an hour, and I just noticed that left hand rod, the line twitch. You know when it's dead calm, there's nothing there really to move the line around, and it's twitched twice. Now it could be debris under there, but normally when you see the line twitching around like that, it's a precursor for a run. So I'm on my toes waiting. Let's see if it plays out, or is it just my imagination. Well, I've been fishing about an hour. Nothing yet. As I say, I saw a little bobble on my float, but you don't know if it's debris or fish. Normally, if it's a fish, you'd expect the run to develop, so nothing there. And on my left hand rod, I saw that line twitch. I saw it twitch twice, but again, must have been debris because it didn't develop into a run. But you never know, there might have been something there, half-heartedly rooting about. It's a lovely morning now. Perfect. Look at that river. Got a lot of water to fish at on a big river like this. So, as I say, we've been fishing now. I've moved the baits around. I haven't changed any baits. Moved them around, repositioned them. Not a lot of weed down there, so you know, presentation's good. Weather conditions are good. Well, 2 hours in, still not a touch. Just reposition the baits again. I mean, there's not much flow, it's very slow, steady flow. Nice tinge of colour in the water. Not much weed coming in off the baits when I'm reeling them in and changing them around, so hopefully we'll see a bit of action today. If I haven't had anything out of here by midday, I shall probably move swims. Go looking for the pike rather than sitting here waiting. So it's still the same, right hand rod, whole sardine on a circle hook on a float rig. Middle rod is still perch, ledger dead bait, and the right hand rod a whole herring, ledgered just off the edge of the reed bed. So haven't seen any pike movement. Haven't seen much silverfish movement either now. There was this morning, but afternoon troops. Another old saying, probably just made it up. If in doubt, move about. I've got to midday, hadn't had a touch, so I've moved downstream 300 metres. More or less, all the swims are pretty much the same along this stretch. I'll run through the swim with you in a second. Yeah, so hadn't had any joy. Oh, see that beep? I hadn't had any joy, so do I sit in the same spot for another 4 hours hoping to get a bite, or do I make a decision? No decision's worse than a bad decision in my book, so I've moved up sticks. Out of breath, worked up a sweat. It's really quite mild. Moved everything, as I say, moved everything 200, 300 metres downstream. And I'll run through the swim with you now. That's downstream. Right hand rod. Just off the edge of that weed bed. Dead bait, static, ledgered, perch. There's my float out there, not that far out. It's on the sort of like the matchmen's inside line. 10, 12 foot of water there. That's a whole sardine on a circle hook. And the left hand rod off the reed bed that side. Whole herring, ledgered, static dead bait. If I hadn't had anything in half hour, 45 minutes. I've got a reed bed opposite. I can stick a bait out on there. So I've got options. Whoa, what's that? Ducks. I got all excited there. Just ducks. But let's see what the afternoon brings. Well, we're in the last couple of hours of the session. That's 2 visits to this stretch, close on 16, 17 hours fishing with 3 rods, and there's a run yet. Now I know the fish are here, you know, people do catch along this stretch quite regular. Does see a lot of pressure, angling pressure. You know, there's been people up around the bridge all day. That seems to be the go-to swims, but you'd expect something. You know, I know what I'm doing is correct. I know how to present my baits. Obviously, with dead baiting, you know, you've got to find the fish and put the bait fish in front of them. Now, I'm moving the baits around, different angles, different distances. Not a touch yet. So as I say, the last couple of hours, it gets dark around 4, between 4 and 5, doesn't it? Almost, you know, closer to 4 than 5. So I've got a couple of hours left. Is it worth moving again? I don't know. I can hear someone's alarm going off in the background, down towards the bridge. Someone's got a fish on. Either that or they, or they like to play around with their bait alarms. But it sounded like a good run. So I'm glad someone's catching. Just want a bit of encouragement, really. You know, I won't give up on this stretch. you know, if you know, sometimes you go to places and it's obvious there's no fish there, and you persevere for a couple of times, and then you sort of think, well, I ain't going there again. But I know there's fish here. I know there's some decent fish here as well. So I don't like a stretch to beat me. So I should put some more time and more effort into it. But you know, it's quite a wide river. There's a lot of water there. You know, you just got to find the fish if you're lucky enough to find them quickly and straight away. All well and good. Otherwise, you know, you just got to plod along, work the water, do what you know is right, do what you know is successful in the past. Ring the changes if you have to. But most of all, never give up. I mean, you can pack up and go home early with the ump, so that's it, that'll be it, I ain't caught anything. There's nothing wrong with that, but make sure you go back. Make sure you attack the venue again. Don't let a venue beat you. Well, that's what I do anyway. I'll be back here again. I've got to catch fish out of here. I know there's fish in here. So it's just a matter of putting the hours in, I suppose. I mean, I don't really want to fish close to the bridge. I don't like it. I don't like fishing where there's loads of people. I don't like fishing where I assume there'll be loads of snags, and you get loads of snags near bridges. That's why I don't like it. But there's a lot of fish up there. There's a lot of prey fish up there. There's a lot of pike up there. So maybe I'm just too stubborn, but I think I'll crack it. When I do, hopefully it'll be one of the big girls. He says, with his fingers crossed and his toes crossed. So that's my daily moan, troops. Ain't had a fish yet, but it ain't over to the fat lady sings. Well, I've had a change around. Right hand rod, it's now got a whole Joey mackerel on. Middle rod, my float rod, has got a half a lamprey. And my left hand rod, a whole herring. So I've had a recast around, trying to change things up. Let's hope the old change of bait produces something. So the only one that's the same is the left hand rod has still got a herring on. Just getting now, it's the last hour and a half really. It's going to get dark quite soon. So it looks perfect, doesn't it? So left hand rod there. That's got a whole herring on. Right, the middle rod, there's the float. It's not out that far really. And that's 11-12 foot there. And my right hand rod, that's got a whole Joey mackerel on. So, just hoping. Low light levels. Maybe they'll go on the prowl now. I hope so. Oh, it come off! Oh, I said all I wanted was a bit of encouragement, and I got it. That float fished lamprey section on a circle hook wasn't even out 5 minutes. And I had a bloody good run. The only snag was it taken me round a clump of weed. So obviously with a circle hook, as I've wound down, thinking I'm winding down into the fish, because it was going, it was running. So as I've wound down, hopefully into a fish, it's evaded me. So oh well, we go again. Well, it's almost dark now. I've had 2 runs. One on the lamprey section on the float, and one on the right hand rod on a whole mackerel. Pike nicked me mackerel, so and the float I got caught around a bit of weed, but so I it's a circle hook, so I just wound down into the fish, nothing. So there's 2 runs in the space of about half an hour, so hoping we nick another, well, we get a run, that nick a fish. Just get my head torch on properly. Let's hope we get another run and make it pay. Soon be dark. There are silverfish topping quite regular now, as you can see, so I'm hoping the pike are on the move as well. Everywhere you look there's fish topping.